Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Phantom Fables Podcast. We are live back in the saddle here on YouTube. Thank you so very much for joining us here tonight on a very kind of chilly evening. Would you say, Katie and Megan?
Yeah.
Hey,
Hello.
I mean, it's kind of chilly, right?
A little cold.
A little cold. I mean, yeah, it's a little chilly, but it's better than.
I haven't been outside. Is that bad?
Well, it was like it's 40 degrees
38.
outside right now here in northern
It's
Nevada.
38 where I'm at.
Oh my gosh, you have to top everybody. Jesus Christ.
I live in the hills. I live in the north. It's cold out here. Okay.
I can top that. It's even colder in Elko.
What's the temperature in Elko right now?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably in the 30s. I didn't look.
Let me look. Okay. Anyway.
But it's relatively like 10 degrees lower usually.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's all part of winter, and of course, it is our Thanksgiving spectacular here as we get to closer to.
Woo woo.
Yeah, before we get to the big Thanksgiving holiday, hopefully everyone is doing their travel stuff. I know all the travel stuff has been rectified now, at least with flights. Thank God, because I was sweating bullets last week and a half. I got back from Disneyland last week, so we'll share that kind of stuff another time. But it was fun going to visit family and going to the happiest place on earth. Hadn't been there in 10 years, so it was nice to see that. Got to ride Rise of the Resistance. Got to do all that. So it was a lot of fun.
Yet, right?
What's that?
Yeah, I got really lucky because I traveled before all that craziness. I just got back from Salem. I got to go Salem and see all that stuff, and that was really fun.
Nice. Yeah, I think thankfully the only issue in that I had two issues. So the one issue I had one issue before I actually flew, and then the second one was the actual flight. So when I was booking my flight, I have the Southwest credit card, so I can get like miles and stuff like that on it and everything. And I was I was doing a lot of different like checking in and just making sure everything looks good, just kind of monitoring stuff. So there was an option on the flight where I can get a upgraded, you can board quicker, right? So I'm like, okay. So I of course, human nature, you click on it and you're just kind of seeing a little bit more information about it. I was just going to see how much it was. And, and of course I wasn't going to do it, but I clicked on it and it said that there was $0.00. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess this is maybe a perk for my credit card. So I went and, of course, clicked yes because it said $0.00. And then it says, thank you for your purchase of $87. We have got you reserved for your.
Oh, no.
And I was booked on group like A, like 1 and 2, which obviously if you fly Southwest, as long as you're in that first like group there, really it doesn't matter as far as the number, because they don't go, okay, number 1, come on up, number 2, you don't do that. So I immediately called the airline and I'm like, okay, this is bullshit, because I don't want this. It turned out there wasn't really many people on the flight to begin with. It was like a 5 a.m. flight, so I like to fly early just because I don't have to like worry about if the plane's going to be there on time, whatever. It's just kind of one of those weird things I have. But I will fly a little bit later on the way home. So after they told me we couldn't do that, they like, oh no, it's not refundable. And I was like, I have a screenshot to show you. It says right here, $0.00. They called me back a few days later after I got back, and they said we're going to credit you back. But just to let you know, I said no, that's fine. I said I have no problem with that. You just need to like fix your system, and apparently they did see that there was an issue with the system. So, and then the second one, of course, is turbulence, which I'm not a fan of turbulence. Morgan was flying. Well, Morgan was flying with me, my daughter, for those who may not know, and she was like kind of laughing at me the whole time. I'm like, you bitch, I don't want to be on this. I do not want to be on the airplane with the turbulence. But no, we didn't have any issues with TSA or going through airline security, things like that. Everything was really smooth. I think people they seemed pretty cool, but I think they were probably more relieved that everything was coming back and that they were going to start getting paid again and everything. So. But yeah, it was a good trip. Katie, how are you doing? How are things? I know you were just eating some pizza a little bit on our pregame show, which we were not airing there. But how's life? How are things going?
Doing pretty good. Just getting through life, and I'm enjoying like this creative adventure we're doing. So
yeah, well, Well, we have someone that is on. I kind of gave a little tease at the very beginning of the show. We actually have a very special guest, and that very special guest's name is Megan. She is, I think she knows Katie. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself, Megan? Tell us who you are.
Hi,
Who are you? What are you doing with us tonight?
I am Megan, Kate's favorite sister, her only sister.
But
Yes, yes,
but
the
you,
only
but you
one.
are the favorite. Though. That's what matters.
Of course, I am the favorite because I'm the only one.
That's right.
So
She's also the baby. So
I am the
of course
baby.
she's the favorite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
So how many total kids? Obviously, Katie, you would be one. But how many total kids are in your family?
4.
and I'm the
Four
oldest.
kids. You are the oldest.
And
So
Megan is the youngest.
all right. Well, there you go.
We
So
got 2 annoying boys in between us.
so
Yeah.
as a reminder, ladies, there is no fighting. Okay. So please do not fight. You will both be put on timeout if there's any kind of
Okay,
fights or
sounds
any
good.
disruptions on there at all. So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are going to be having a frank discussion about a great little kind of middle of the Nevada area. We talked about Tonopah last time. We're going to tend to go a little bit further south of Tonopah, which we will talk about in just a moment. But of course, got to get the stuff out of the way first. Don't forget, if you are listening to us for the very first time, welcome in. Where have you been? We've missed you, but definitely come and settle down, relax. We're going to talk about a historic mining town, which we say that about like Virginia City. We say that about, there's like we're the
There's a lot of
historic.
mining towns in Nevada.
Well, this one's got a kind of an interesting story. So, and of course, with these historic mining towns, when you researched it, you've gone to these places before. It's always during this period between this year and this year, this was the richest town in Nevada. So you always have this
Right.
in every single place.
It's a
So this was another richest town in Nevada, which is known as a big mining area, and there's people live there. It's not Virginia City. It is Goldfield, Nevada, which is in between Tonopah and what was that name of the city, Katie? Beatty?
Beatty?
Beatty? No, you said it.
Is that how you say it? I'm
You
like,
s-
I don't remember now.
Now you said it wrong. It's Beatty. Beatty,
Beatty.
Nevada. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm at fault. I will mispronounce words like crazy. Just ask the people on the Disneyverse podcast; they will vouch for that. But
No,
again,
Beatty. Yeah, I remember
Beatty.
now.
But yeah, well, that's probably the only time we're actually going to talk about Beatty, Nevada. But again, thank you so well. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
'cause I've
Maybe
been
not
there
this episode.
before.
But yep. But again, thank you so much for joining us here. Don't forget, if you do like the show, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, and a partridge in a pear tree. So I will do the introduction on Beatty, Nevada. And then once we get into the topic, I'm going to have you two ladies kind of talk about Goldfield, Nevada. So Goldfield, Nevada is, like with many mining towns, historic, which it is. It's a mining town in Esmeralda County. Now, Esmeralda County is a very, very small county. I mean, the city of Los Angeles is bigger than Esmeralda County, Nevada. So it is very much
Wow.
a small county. It is. People live there. There's as of 2020 during the census, there was 225 residents that lived there.
Wow.
It was the richest and largest city in the state during the early 1900s. So
Excuse me.
it had a big mining impact in the state of Nevada. It was founded in 1902 following a major gold discovery. So right off the bat, Goldfield gold right off the bat. It's unusual because Goldfield would have the gold. Now that's not really unusual, except Nevada's the silver state. So there was a
Yeah.
big difference between Goldfield and the rest of the state because Goldfield was a big gold area, which obviously the name with
Yeah.
Goldfield. Found in 1902, and between 1905 and 1910, Goldfield's population surged to nearly 20,000 people. It made it the largest and wealthiest city in the state of Nevada. Notable figures include Virgil Earp and Wyatt Earp.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, back in 1904. So Virgil Earp, who is related to Wyatt, Virgil was the sheriff and Wyatt was probably the outlaws, so they probably were doing their thing, but that's fine. So now, unlike other cities, it was a big boom, but then it fell off the map fairly quickly. So about 1910, production started to sharply decline as deposits proved shallow, leading to a dramatic crash in population and prosperity. And so at this point, ladies, I'm going to go ahead and give it up to you. You go ahead and share your stories. And I know Megan's got a very interesting story that I'm really interested in hearing about. So why don't you go ahead and talk to us a little bit more about Goldfield's past and some of your encounters?
Okay. Kate, did you want to say anything, or want me to go ahead?
No, you go ahead. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
a pretty interesting little area. I mean, um, it's crazy that, we're sensing a theme here that all the mine areas are pretty much dead now, but you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start with like just my impression of when I went there. Like, it's a cool town. Like, there's definitely no one there. They have a gas station maybe. They didn't have restaurants. That we stayed at this little motel, and it's called the Santa Fe Motel. And if you ever get a chance to stay there, it's hilarious. So we didn't know going into it. We're about to get into our hotel, and the bartender lady is like so rude to us, and we're like, what is going on? Well, the next day we're driving out and it says the meanest bartender in the West. And I was like, oh, it's like a gimmick. Like they're doing it on purpose. And I'm like,
Awesome.
oh, that I felt less like mad about it. And then I was like, this is the best. So I thought that was kind of a cute little thing that they're doing there because they're trying to attract people in. But I mean, you can
Right.
walk around that city and like there's little homes in there that still have like plates on the table inside of it. Like you can just walk around and it's just like an amazing view into the
Ghost town,
past.
right?
Yeah, like they have, houses made from wine bottles and everything has an historical landmark plaque on it. They have, I mean, it's if you haven't been there, you should definitely check it out. So we're stopping and seeing for the first time if you haven't. So I'll get into it.
Nice.
You kind of already covered a little bit of like the history, being the richest city in Nevada at one point. Um, and the hotel itself opened 1907. It was pure luxury for the time, which is crazy for a little small town, but it was 4 stories, over 150 rooms. It had private baths with running water, which was not common at the time.
Right.
Crystal chandeliers, mahogany everywhere. It had an elevator, which the coolest thing about that was that was pretty new technology to everyone. Not a lot of people got to use an elevator. So they had a stairway right alongside of the elevator, and it still has to this day, it still has the carpet intact because nobody used it because everybody
Oh,
wanted to
wow.
use the elevator. So like the carpet is still pretty good decent shape. So that just kind of shows like how luxurious this hotel was. It was like the Ritz in the desert. And the guests talked about like them pouring champagne down the staircase on opening night because these guys just had money. Like I think the gold that they ended up getting out of those mines was worth in today's money like $1.5 billion. So it's insane. Um,
Yeah.
but like
I
every
was
boom town, go ahead.
I was reading it was they says they got an astounding 86 million in gold, but I don't know
I,
if there was more than that later, you know?
I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's what they got. I think that's what they ended up thinking that's what was worth it, but I think they left because there were many reasons they left. It wasn't just that the gold dried up. They had many fires. They had a fire that burned down like the entire city, entire
Okay.
blocks. So, and that was devastating for them, and it was really hard for them to rebuild when the mines are drying up. So I don't think they wanted to invest anything anymore. And
Right.
around World War II, that's when it was pretty much done. The Some of the soldiers were staying in that area during that time, but after World War II, everybody just kind of left. So,
Right.
um,
Makes
now,
sense.
yeah, to the ghosts. That's what everybody wants to hear, right? Um,
I do. I
so
do.
first, right, I'll get into the spirits that are supposedly or allegedly in there. Some of the stories talk about Elizabeth. I will preface that it hasn't been factually corroborated. Like this is all legend, right? But
Right.
a lot of things are, and we have to just kind of take it take it with a grain of salt and take what we want to believe out of it. So, legend says that a woman named Elizabeth, said to be the woman who got pregnant by George Wingfield, who was a mining mogul who basically owned the town. He came in and owned the mines. He was gambler. He ran the show. And according to the story, he had chained her to a radiator in room 109 because he got her pregnant, and he was already married, didn't want the baby, chained her to the radiator till she had the baby. Then he took the baby, threw it down a mine shaft, and then we don't know how she died, if she starved or if he murdered her after that.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's pretty heavy. So um, yeah, it was kind of sad. And then let's just say that George was kind of a piece of shit. Sorry if I swear on. He was. So
No,
besides him doing that, he had a common law wife that tried to sue him for basically she tried to leave her. He gave her syphilis, got her pregnant, and then left. And then her and her child died in poverty. He was just a horrible guy. And his last name was Wingfield. And he ended up moving to Reno after this. So wondering what he did in Reno. I didn't look up much after that.
Wingfield Springs. That all makes sense now. 100% makes sense. Yep. Oh god.
Michael lives by there. Actually.
I do. I live in Wingfield Springs. That's all I'm saying.
So just like it's crazy because it's like you think all these people who like are the pioneers for your city, but they're all just like assholes. So
yeah.
Yep.
History is always fun, right?
Sometimes it's better not looking into it, but you do learn a lot about like history and how not to repeat those things, but it's still crazy.
Right.
So after that, there's other ghosts that they say that he wanders the hall and you may see him like smoking a cigar. You may smell smoke. Elizabeth's been seen. You can hear cries of babies. And there's also some guy. Apparently, they call him the Stabber.
Oh,
terrifying. Yeah, apparently he has been known to stab people. I don't know. Allegedly, there was somebody who hanged themselves there, and then a guy who jumped off the roof. So, quite a few deaths there. And then with the fires, I think that it makes sense why this place was called one of the scariest places on Earth. So, it's been on multiple ghost hunting shows. Like, I think it was on Ghost Hunters like 4 times, and then also on Taps and a few other ones. So kind of scary. Yeah, Ghost Adventures. Yeah, it was definitely scary when I went. So we'll kind of get into my experience. So I went to Goldfield. I think it was back in 2019. And I went with a couple of my fellow ghost hunting group, and we stayed the night overnight, and it is a terrifying place. Besides it being really creepy, like just walking through a dark old hotel, we had a lot of experiences there. So one of my friends who was there kept hearing growling behind her. I heard it once, but she kept hearing it like following her. The basement itself is kind of infamous. That's the place on Ghost Adventures where the brick kind of flew across the room and they all ran out screaming. It's a pretty scary place. So we went down into the basement, and we wanted to go where allegedly the baby was buried. And we're standing there, and all of us are just kind of feeling a little freaked out, like getting this strong urge that we should leave, right? And everyone's like, let's go upstairs. And the leader of our group is like, she's been doing this 30 years. She's a medium, very sensitive to stuff. And she said, no, we can't. We have to stand our ground. So she says that in a very commanding tone. And I'm standing right next to her. And out of nowhere, I get this really strong feeling of rage, like I wanted to hurt her. And that, if anyone who knows me knows that I'm a kind, sweet-hearted person, that's not who I am. So it was really weird, and I kept thinking in my head, like, you're in control. This is not your feeling. This is not. You don't want to hurt Julie. And I didn't say anything. I'm just standing there, very quiet, feeling this, going through this emotion. And Julie, like, kind of turns, like, very pointedly at me, looks at me, and says, "You need to get upstairs now." Like, I didn't even say anything, so I don't know how she knew. But she's like, "You got to go upstairs." And she said that my face, there was like another face over my face. That's what she saw. And so as soon as we got upstairs, she's like, "Let's do some Reiki. Let's do some healing on you. We gotta get this off of you." And I felt like somebody had put like a vice on top of my head. Mm-hmm. Like it felt like somebody was trying to possess me. It was insane. And pretty much after that, it ended the investigation for us. We did other stuff before, but that was the craziest thing that happened. We got some EVP down there, or we actually got the name Elizabeth that came through. So that was corroborating for me because the story allegedly is not proven. The fact that we got her name made me feel like that is a true story. So
Wow.
So it was a pretty heavy place to be. Just talking about it kind of brings up those feelings, and it's just like I survived that. It was kind of crazy.
Right.
I did. Thankfully, nothing came home with me. We did a cleansing, and I was fine. Nothing followed me. But yeah, that was probably the most intense thing I ever felt. Yeah.
Yeah, the spirit was probably trying to give you their emotions and trying to work through you somehow because they were still angry.
Well, still angry, and I don't think that he liked being challenged.
Yeah.
So he was trying, and I'm a sensitive person. I'm very intuitive. So a lot of times when I go on these investigations, it's not the first time I've felt feelings of other people before. I've had situations where my chest has hurt, and then I found out later where I was standing, someone had a heart attack, like things like that. So this wasn't a super shocking thing, but this felt like more of him trying to control me, like he wanted me to hurt her, and that was like terrifying. But also, I've done this a long time where I know that I'm in control, and so I knew that in that moment I was in control, and that whoever this person was, they weren't going to make me do anything I wasn't going to do. But it's still like a terrifying place. There's some bad energy. I don't know if that was George. George is definitely a good contender because he's the one that was so evil. But also I watched other ghost hunters go down there, and they said they felt demonic forces down there. So I mean, it really could be either. I don't remember what I felt, but besides that, so.
Yeah, but there was like 20,000 people there, so you never know, who it could have been.
Yeah, and let me go back to a little bit of the hotel. Like, the crazy thing about the way that they had it set up in the 1920s, so they had a room upstairs for the women. The women would go into the sewing room, and the men would be on the other side in the saloon, and the women weren't allowed to go in there. The men would be in the saloon, and then there were like secret passageways that they could go across the street to the brothel. Well, their wives didn't know they were over there, and they were over there having sex with prostitutes and then coming back, and wives didn't know, so there were a lot of like shady stuff going on there. And then it's Old West, like people are probably shooting people in the streets,
right?
It's Wild West. So like, who knows? But there's definitely heaviness, and I'm probably scaring a lot of people out there, but I think it's if you are passionate about ghost hunting, it is a place that I highly suggest going to if you have the right tools and the right people, and you do protection and you go into it with the right headspace. There's something there. If you want proof, that's the place to be. So
right. We didn't get a chance to go up to Goldfield, but we wanted to, but we're going to plan a trip probably next year. So hopefully we get to go into the hotel.
Yeah. I mean, there's 4 floors. I think that it's not open to the public. So
that's why I gotta figure that out.
Yeah, we had to pay. So we paid for a group. So you're probably only going to get in there if you have a ghost hunting group with you. I mean, you could try reaching out, but I think that's how we were able to get in there.
Yeah.
They are trying to renovate it. Like, it's gone through like multiple different owners. It's a very expensive project. The whole town needs to be renovated. I mean, it's such a cool town. I hope that they can preserve it. But people have put millions of dollars in this place, and it's kind of still the same. So I hope someone bought it, I think, in 2021. So I hope that they can renovate it, and then everybody can go into it, and it will be open. That would be really cool.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yep.
So did you get to go to the graveyard at all where there's that guy? Did you hear about that? The unknown man died from eating library paste?
No, I didn't hear about that, but I did go to the cemetery.
Yeah, so I guess there's a headstone there. July 14th, 1908, unknown man died eating library paste. Just kind of
live your best life, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not funny, but it's kind of,
Is it is it this funny?
It's a little comical, I'm gonna say, that you died that way.
I mean, I'm like listening to the show and like trying to like follow along, and I'm just like, because I'm not really feeling all that great, so I'll just that's why I'm not speaking too much. But I'm like, library paste, like what the hell? Is that Elmer or something? Elmer's
There's always that one kid.
I know, right?
You know what?
Well, it was a man, okay?
Well, you see
That's
those.
crazy.
No, you see all these stories about like like if you watch like a movie or something like that. Oh, he's just eating paste or something like that. I wonder if that's where it come from.
I don't
Maybe.
It can't
possibly.
taste that good.
Yeah,
How do
would
how
be
do you
like,
know?
I don't know. We never had that in my school, so I don't know. But
it's library paste from back in the 1900s.
Well,
I
it's got to
think
be
one other
way
thing
more toxic than it is now.
oh yeah, it's probably got lead in it,
It's
asbestos.
got exactly. Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to be made out of starch and flour and water,
Oh, well
but
then how does that kill you?
okay, but it says the unknown man who died in Goldfield because it had a deadly amount of alum, ALUM.
Is that like arsenic? What is alum? I don't know what that
I
is.
don't know what alum is either. I can look it up. I just know that my boyfriend told me about it, and he was like, "This is hilarious. You got to talk about this." It's a hydrated double sulfate salt of aluminum. So
Oh,
it's basically aluminum.
somebody got like
So
metal
yeah,
poisoning.
not good for you. Yeah, it's not good for you.
That's one thing I love.
Poor
So one thing
guy.
I love about the old graves, like old cemeteries, they actually like put like the cause of death, which is insane.
Yeah,
But they
very
died.
similar to Tonopah Cemetery.
Yeah, there were some cool ones in Tonopah. Like instead of suicide, they would say life just got too hard, and I'm like, I get it.
I get it, man.
Life's hard. not to glorify suicide or anything. I think that's a
Oh yeah,
terrible thing, but like just the way that they would put it, like it was just like what interesting. But I don't have much else specifics to that investigation. If you guys want, we could talk about other ghost hunts that I've done before, or what do you guys want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely talk about more of your adventures in regards to ghost hunting. And then, of course, but I still want to get into more of Goldfield itself because obviously there's still a lot more besides eating glue. But welcome to Goldfield, where we eat glue since 1902 or something.
I support the sign.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at the Santa Fe Motel and Salon. That's where you stayed, right?
Yeah, the Santa Fe Hotel.
Okay, it was built in 1905. It
Oh,
does.
Really?
Yeah, it does say, that there is the meanest bartender in Nevada.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was so mean. She was like,
there's a restaurant where you can get mean waitresses. I forget the name of it, but it's like a whole restaurant like based off of the
is it like where they like
the
insult you and everything? Like you're a piece of crap for
Yeah.
ordering that or something like that. Do they do? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
pretty
talking
much,
about?
yeah.
So there's
People love
Dick's.
it.
I've heard of.
There's Dick's Last Resort, which is in Vegas, where the Excalibur is. Because I went
Okay.
there for a work thing a number of years ago, and it's all that and what they advertise. It's exactly what they do. So
And I guess in August there's Goldfield Days, which is where they do gunfights, barbecue cook-offs, kids games, vintage car shows, parades.
oh, that's pretty cool.
So I guess there's a big that's a thing they do. So
So it
in
becomes like Virginia City.
Yeah,
like
kind
every
of, but
weekend,
it's not
really
big enough.
No, it's not big enough. But I mean, they still do try to do reenactments and stuff like that. When is it's in during the summertime?
It just said August. It
Oh,
didn't
so
say when.
so no, but it's in the summertime. No, that's fine. I wasn't looking
Yeah.
for myself. I was just wanting to get the date in case if anyone wants to look that up. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
about that.
I've only been to Goldfield like technically once. I mean, I drove by it so many times. I've been to Vegas many times and drove to Vegas, but I stopped once when I was on my way to Vegas and took a picture with me in the Goldfield behind me. And man, I look tiny in that photo. Like it is a huge hotel. It is gigantic. Like I just look like a little person. And there's this huge.
Well, and that's
that's the only picture I ever got of it, and I never really actually, walked around or anything. We were in a hurry, so I just kind of took a picture and got back to the car.
Well, and that's why that's one of those examples too, because when you have they have that moniker of the world's richest or the mining capital of Nevada, because like I said, every mining town in this city or in this state had something like that. But you also heard a lot of different things in regards to like how things were like just ginormous. They were huge. They were, showing off the wealth that they had. So, I mean, it makes sense for them to have a building where everyone would go to, this just ginormous palace of just lavish luxury for
There's
the
nothing
short
else to
time they
do.
had.
Just mining and whoring, and that's it.
Were they
making money?
They were minding their own business. That's just what I mean. That's just how it is there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's how it is, so.
He's having too much fun with the sound effects
now. Oh my God! Well, they can't. For anyone who doesn't hear, they don't hear the music when we're starting the show. Every time, and Katie will confirm this. Every single time we do the prep for the show, we're always like, "Okay, Katie, can you hear this?" And I play the music, and then all of a sudden, Katie's like, "I don't hear anything." I'm like, "Well, okay, well then, thank you for the heads up on that." But no, but I'm just giving her a hard time. So I mean, Megan, we'll get into a little bit more of your ghost adventures. We'll go a little bit further onto Goldfield here, because there's still a lot more to go on that. So one thing that Goldfield has, as far as its unique features, is the architecture, obviously, right? We talked a little bit about the hotel. We talked about how expansive it is, how Katie looks like an ant compared to this big building. It's just really, just because I know what you mean. Sometimes these buildings are just huge, and you're just like this little tiny person there and everything. They were also known as the world's greatest gold camp. So they were really trying to focus themselves on being this, hey, you need to come here. You can make so much money, which back in the day wasn't a lot, but now it'd be like a lot. And it really embodies the Old West, right? You talked about the Goldfield Days coming up in August. They have a lot of the mining stuff. They have a lot of different tours that they do. They do a lot of different things that go on with it. It's just really cool for them to. Yeah, they only have 200 something people that live there, but they really embrace what they are, and they really embrace the fact. And that's the nice thing about these small towns, right? Like Elk. I mean, we'll say Elko, we'll say Winnemucca, we'll say Fernley, Fallon. Any of these small towns. Urington is another one. There's a lot of small town pockets in Nevada that are really, really cool. And if you see those movies where they're like, "Oh yeah, come on down, we have the county fair coming," you don't see that. But you really do see that hospitality, and that's the really cool thing that Nevada really does bring. This is obviously we're not paid by the state of Nevada. We're doing this, but I grew up in California. I grew up in Southern California. That's part of why I went to. I was in Disneyland last week. As far as my travels go. But you don't get that that small town feel. It's like you just go from one big city to the next big city to the next big city. It's endless big cities. But when you go to these small states, Nevada, New Mexico is another one. Utah, yeah, they have Salt Lake City, which is the city there. Just like Nevada, Vegas is the city here. But there's a lot of towns in this area that really have a lot of history, and there's a lot of just wonderful things about it. Yeah. And that's the cool thing.
I can add to that. I'm from Reno, but I moved to Elko last year, and it's strictly a mining town. That's the business here. That's why people move here, and that hospitality that you were talking about, a small town vibe, like it's a lot better than I expected. I'd only been to Elko a few times, stopping when we were kids on the way to Utah, and I never really knew anything about it. But it is like a whole bunch of different people in a small space, but they're all welcoming. And I love with the Old West. Like I've gone to California, I've gone to Florida, I've gone to Boston, and there's nothing like home. Like Yeah,
and they do I love that they do like the Old West stuff where they, people that maybe from the East Coast wouldn't be able to experience otherwise,
Yeah, that's true. We have the horse races out here in the summer, in September, and those are the best.
Cool.
And they have a lot of West, like they have the cowboy poetry. That's what Elko's known for, and that is really cool. If you ever get a chance to go to it, it's pretty cool.
I think they had like a cowboy poetry, and this is a real thing, like the cowboy poetry world championships. It's a big, big thing that they do. It is just, you wouldn't think some of the best poets would be cowboys. I mean, seriously, you wouldn't think as far as what they do. It's just beautiful in what they do, and they tell great stories through poetry. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I've only gone once, so I hope to go this year and see what more people. But yeah, it's great. There's a lot of art too.
Right. Oh yeah. No, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm planning to visit at some point, so maybe I can see a few things.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
You don't have to
definitely.
report back on your adventures in Elko.
There's also some haunted places out here, like the Commercial Hotel, and apparently there is a burned down asylum that I need to go check out. So I'm gonna start exploring, and maybe I have some more things for the podcast later in the future after I explore Elko some more.
Absolutely. Of course, you're always
Awesome.
welcome to come back anytime you want to come on.
Yeah.
So Kate, I know
Sure.
I'll tell about my my Goldfield story. I don't really have a lot to report on it, but I can at least mention I did go through it and I did spend probably maybe 40 minutes. I mean, it was partly honestly was just to get gas, but also part of it was to just kind of look around, just not really, you just kind of see what's about and everything. So do you have any Goldfield? I mean, because you've been to Goldfield, haven't you, before? Just kind of
You
driving
asking
through it?
me?
Yeah. Well, you're the only Katie on
Yeah,
the
like
show,
I said,
so.
I've literally only drove through it, and then that one time I took the photo. Otherwise, I really haven't explored it much.
So talk a little bit about the photo, because obviously, you did stop for just a few minutes, and it was pretty much just going through it. Really not going to be there for like 2 days or to explore. But where were
I
you at? What
literally
were you
think it was
taking?
so long ago. I don't even remember if it's digital or if I have a physical copy of it
Mhm.
because it was so long ago. I don't even remember when it was.
Oh, so this was a long time ago. Okay.
Yeah, it was probably when my kids were little.
Oh, that's like 20 years.
Yeah, so
Not trying to age you or anything.
my
Mine are
friend,
too.
she,
Mine are too, so I can totally age myself on that one.
yeah, my friend, she bought a car in Vegas. I don't remember why, and she's like, "Hey, I need you to drive up with me. I need somebody to keep me company." And I was like, "Heck yeah, I got nothing to do. Let's go."
Nice. So the only thing I can say is that when I went through it, I did see the big building. And that was the one thing that obviously got me, right? You have that big building.
Right.
It's literally in the middle of this small town. And when I mean small, it is like, they had a parade downtown when they installed their first stop sign. And I'm not saying that to be funny, but stuff like that's a big deal in small towns when you're able to get something that normally you don't ever really see in small towns. But I remember that, and I just remember how like quiet it was. It was just quiet, and it was not like at 3 a.m. or like anything like that. It wasn't snowing, no rain, nothing like that. It was a clear day. It was probably 61, 62, which is cool because it was during the wintertime, because I wanted to drive from Northern Nevada to Vegas for one of my work trips instead of doing the flight, because I kind of want to do something, mix it up a little bit differently. Because when you do those trips 2 or 3 times a year, at some point you do the same routine, you go the same routes and everything like that. So anyway,
Right.
it was super quiet, and like there wasn't a car coming down, there wasn't anything going on for about a good 5-6 minutes when I was just pumping gas, and I didn't hear anything like when you think of Field of Dreams, if you build it, he will come. You whisper that's nothing like that, right? Which, if that happened, I would have probably turned back north. Anyway, I would have, but it was just like this surreal, and it kind of brought you in a little bit of an inner peace, because when you're in the hustle bustle, even when you're driving, you hear the car, you hear all these little noises and stuff like that. It's so rare to actually be in a place where it is dead silent. And I'm not saying that, no pun intended, with a ghost or anything.
It is.
But it is dead silent. And in Nevada, there are some roads that have they have the loneliest road in the United States. I think, is it 50 going out east to
Yes.
Utah itself? Okay. So that's called the loneliest highway in the entire United States. And what I mean by that, and Megan, you can probably elaborate, actually probably better than me on this. Why is it called the loneliest road in the entire country?
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Oh,
I
gosh
just think it's
darn
probably
it. I set you up for that. You take it.
I think it's just probably because there's not a lot of traffic on it, honestly.
Well, the only real traffic that goes through is people literally going from Reno to Vegas, or Vegas to Reno. If you have to go up for weddings or business things, like for me that I did.
Yep.
But when you have that road, it literally is those type of roads you see in movies, where it is literally just miles of just straight road with nothing on it. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe 1 or 2 of those movies had that road on it. It is literally desolate. So it literally is nothing. And it's a good idea to have your car completely serviced if you're ever going on a lonely road like that one, because if you break down, you are effed. And I don't want to use that word because this is kind of a kid's show, but Not really.
Well, sorry, I swore earlier.
No. I don't have it on restriction. I don't have it on any kind of restriction. So on the podcast, every time they always ask me that, I'm like, no, there's no restriction. We're good. But yeah, I mean, I think there's all these small towns, right? You have the small towns, you have the small towns, but there's always a story. And I know, Megan, you kind of led into that a little bit earlier in regards to your ghost adventures, your ghost hunting. Why don't you give us your, obviously we will include the Goldfield one because you were already part of that. You did describe that.
Yep.
But tell us a little bit about the one that you would have when I say, give me your number one ghost story, your ghost adventure that you've been on, and where and everything.
I mean, it depends on like craziest places. I've been to prison. Carson City was probably the scariest. When we were there were other ghost groups there, and one of the other people that we were with said like a guy got shanked literally by a ghost, and that was kind of scary. And then we got to see like the gas chamber, and that was surreal to see because like people have died in there, like yeah. And then they also had like, so how like every prison has the hole, or like in solitary confinement, it's literally a hole in like the side of the mountain, like it's
seen that.
A dark cave, and basically there was this guy who was like a Native American, and they were racist at the time, so they didn't treat him very well, but he was kind of crazy, I guess, and he would like fling poo and just be really unruly, and they couldn't really manage him.
Lovely.
So they threw him in there for 12 years. He went blind because he was in pitch black. Can you imagine being in pitch black for 12 years?
No.
And he died in there. And I just, when I stood in front of it, I just felt so much sorrow for him. Like he was probably mentally ill, and they didn't know how to handle that. Instead, they just threw him away and like threw away the key. Like they just, I'm sure they fed him, but like that's it. And so that was a pretty intense like place to be. I didn't get a lot of a lot of evidence there because I had to leave early for a personal matter. But I want to go back there because that place was pretty intense. My best evidence that I've ever gotten is actually the miners' cabin in Virginia City, well, Gold Hill, not Goldfield, Gold Hill in Virginia City. I got like a really bright orb in the miners' cabin, and when I got that picture, it was broad daylight, and it's like as bright as the sun. I'll have to send you guys the picture. It's pretty insane. That one's supposed to be really haunted. That's actually where
I've had experiences there actually too.
Yeah.
That I know that the miner's cabin is very haunted. I can feel it. I can sense it. I've had experiences, and it's because I think it's a Yellow Jacket mine.
Yeah, the Yellow Jacket mine.
So
it was the biggest loss of life in a mine ever in Nevada was the Yellow Jacket mine. I think it was like 12 people. Don't quote me. You might want to fact check that. But I just remember that it was a lot of people, and there was a lot of death happened in one big cave-in or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do an episode on the prison. We're definitely gonna do an episode on Gold Hill and many places in Virginia City. That's definitely in the future.
Yeah. And then actually some crazy experiences I've had at Kate's house when she was in a condo. I mean, that's a short story, but
that's I probably don't want to hear because it's probably going to turn into something completely. Katie, like, oh yeah, no, I know what that was. That was not a ghost. I promise you.
There was a ghost on the top of the stairs. That's all I know. And
well, I walked into a spirit. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. It's weird. At least that's what I think happened because it was a warm room, and I walked into something that didn't want me there. It was telling me on my communication devices to get out. And I should have listened, and I didn't. I kept like provoking it, and then I ran into it, and my entire body went ice cold, and it's a very unsettling feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the first time I was scared. Like I've been to a lot of scary places, but that was like the first time I was scared because I hadn't felt that way before. Yeah. I don't know if you knew that, Kate.
It took us a little while to figure it out, but after being there for a few months, and since I'm sensitive, I definitely could tell that I always felt like somebody was going to push me down the stairs. I know it sounds crazy, but
yeah, no, she was by the stairs.
So it always freaked me out, and then I felt like someone was hanging out on the top of the stairs a lot, and I was just like, I kept looking up there and going, "Oh, you creep me out. Go away." You know.
She didn't like when I went to the back left bedroom. That's when she was getting mad. It's like I was taking pictures and I got on my communication device. It's like an Ovilus. It's where they use like a dictionary to communicate. So I had that and I had the EMF meter. So I had two forms of investigation tools so that way I could corroborate what I was doing. And when I got up to the top of the stairs and in your room, it kept saying no picture. It said no pictures, which usually I only get one word, but I got no pictures, get out. And then I think the other word was like violated.
Oh, wow.
So she was feeling like I was violating her space. She was still very much there. And I think I even got the name Linda. Was it Linda, Kate?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. You remember more than
I think it was. I think it was Linda I got on the communication device, and then you asked your neighbor, and they were like, yeah, she used to live there.
Yeah, I think I remember that now.
Yeah.
And that was creepy because I wanted to ask the neighbor to see if she knew anything. She'd been there for quite a while, and we'd befriended her for sure. And she was a really nice lady. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, great.
Which is funny because Julie, the one that was your neighbor, is the one that was the one I was on the investigation at the Goldfield Hotel, which is the one that saw the face.
Julie ended
that was her
moving in there, and then her friend Julie was across, like in a different condo across the street. And it was crazy because I kind of met them on my own, like just being neighbors. And then my sister's like, yeah, I know them. And I'm like, no way. So it's pretty crazy.
Yep. She's the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's crazy. I remember her now. But yeah, and Michael, and we've talked about how small Reno is, you know, always end up running into people. And
you always do. You
like
always
that.
do. No, that's
crazy.
It's true though. That's absolutely true. So anything else ladies want to chat about before we call it a night?
I have a joke. If you guys want to hear it.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my soundboard up. Hold on. Let me get that up. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
It's worth it. I promise. It's a little long, but I promise it's worth it.
Okay.
All right. So this guy walks into a bar and he sits down at the bar. He says, give me a beer. I've had a long day. And the guy goes, all right. And then he's sitting there. The bartender walks away. He's the only one in there. And he hears, that's a really nice shirt. And he's like, who said that? Like, nobody's around me. The bartender's over there. And he's getting a little creeped out. And he's like, whatever. And he goes, that's a really nice tie. And he's like, oh my God, is this place haunted? Like, I'm about to leave. So he tells the bartender, hey, can you close me out? This place is haunted. I don't want to be here. And he goes, no, it's the nuts. He goes, what? He goes, the nuts, they're complimentary. Oh, come on. That's funny. The nuts are complimentary.
Oh, the nuts?
Okay.
I
thought it was funny.
No, I know.
Fine.
So it's not a ghost.
Well, I won't quit my day job.
No, you're good. We're just giving you a hard time. Just give me a hard time.
I just didn't hear what you said. That's the problem. I didn't hear nuts, and I'm like, what are complimentary?
Oh, it's the nuts.
You know,
I heard that.
You know what they are, right? They're like these little things. They're probably made by planters. Usually, they're the ones who make the most, and so that's what they are.
Yeah, I think you forgot part of the joke because I think I heard that the other day, and it's like, did you? I don't remember if you said he was eating the nuts that were on the counter because I think that's part of the joke.
No, I didn't hear that in the joke when I heard it.
I don't think I heard it either.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
You'll come back next time.
I'm gonna have a whole bunch of new sounds. Maybe I'll have a seventh one. I haven't done all of them in. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have more ghost stories that I can share on future podcasts. I don't want to talk about it tonight, but
yeah, no, we have a bunch more. We have a lot more, and that's the beauty about it, right? We have a lot more we can go over and everything. But of course, if you like this episode, if you thought, you know what, this show was just the best thing I've heard all day, and I'm like, you know what, thank you. Here's $20. Make sure you drop a like, leave a comment. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, and of course, as we mentioned before, if there is an episode that you would like to hear in a future one or a place or anything, let us know in those comments. We'd like to hear about those.
At the location we're talking about, that'd be cool too to have a comment.
Anything at this point, that would be fantastic. So, well, thank you, Megan, for joining us. We'd love to have you come on again if you would, if you'd be able to. I know sometimes it was a little challenging like that, but again, thank you so much. And thanks
for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us here. So for Michael, for Katie, for Megan, for my cat Tigger. My other cat Smokey, who's not with us anymore. I think he's haunting me, by the way. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he's haunting me. I don't think there's any question about it. For else, Winnie, everybody else, thank you so much for joining us here. This is again the show known as the Phantom Fables Podcast. We talked about Goldfield, Nevada. We'll think about what we're going to cover next time, but until then,
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
yeah, we'll talk about it.
Maybe
Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about Disneyland, because there's a lot of stuff about Disneyland.
We'll see.
I have a very spooky story.
Keep wanting to talk about Disneyland, but we're not there yet.
Listen, I love Disneyland. I'm gonna stop this song. Yeah, I love Disneyland.
Just let him get it out of his system.
Get it
I
out.
know,
Let me
right?
get it out.
It's been more than one episode, though.
Let's see how many texts did I get? No,
out.
just kidding. Just kidding. All right, I'm gonna play the music again.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I was in charge of choosing the episodes, so and
no. I'm just giving you a hard time. All right, you guys take care. Thanks again for joining us here,
Too.
and we'll see you next time on an all-new venture of the Phantom Fables Podcast. Until then, see you.
Night.
Bye.